Recovery Elevator episode 578.
So I was tired of the finding it and saying I was going to do something and not doing it. It's exhausting.
Welcome to the Recovery Elevator podcast. My name is Paul Churchill, and this is how we quit. On today's episode, we have Jan. She's 75 years old, from Winchester, Virginia, and took her last drink of alcohol on February 1st, 2021. Incredible work, Jan. Calling all past interviewees who want to share their story in general to help others, Recovery Elevator is compiling recovery stories for a new book titled This Is How We Quit, which hopefully comes out July 24th, and we need your help. A bit about the title of the book. It's This Is How We Quit, not This Is How I Quit, meaning you can't do this alone. If you want to be part of this project and submit your story, we'd love to have you. And there's no sobriety time requirement. So if you're thinking, well, I've only been sober for 6 days, I can't submit my story, that's nonsense. We want to hear from you. The whole point of this book is helping others find hope and freedom from alcohol. You're going to feel great knowing that your challenges and adversity helped somebody else break free from alcohol. Send an email to info@recoveryelevator.com and we'll send you a Google form to fill out and you can submit your story. Before we get any further, I want to mention this is an ad from BetterHelp. In March, we've got International Women's Day. It's a moment to celebrate women's strength and progress while also recognizing how much they carry every day. I know in our own household, my wife does so much heavy lifting, especially now that we have a child that seems to run around the house and just make messes everywhere. So listeners, I want you to take a moment and pause and reflect on the roles that women play in your lives, and also think about the expectations placed on them and the pressures that they feel. Women, you all deserve major kudos and support. With over 30,000 therapists, BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform, and they've got an average rating of 4.9 stars out of 5, and there's 1.7 million client reviews. Women, your emotional well-being matters. Find support and feel lighter in therapy. Sign up and get 10% off betterhelp.com/elevator. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/elevator. Okay, let's get started. There's a phrase in the recovery space that says, protect your energy. And I track with it. I like it. It's a solid idea. And I try to practice it as well. So my goal in life, and it has always been this way, is to bring people together, to join. Hell, I even have an album on Spotify called Unite. So that's my mission. And it's been a major pain point of mine to see the current administration purposely trying to separate or divide Americans. Sending in ICE and military force to blue states for that only reason, because they're blue states? If you really wanted to fix America, you'd start with the rot in D.C., right outside your house. We had a Cafe RE meetup in Washington, D.C. a couple years ago, and right in front of my nearly $400 a night hotel room were people smoking crack. I know that's what they were smoking because I asked them, and it was everywhere. It was like a zombie apocalypse. So, protect your energy. I try to focus on what I can control, and I turn everything else off. The big one here is I don't watch the news. A couple of months ago, we were visiting my parents and they had the news on. They always do, with the volume cranked up. Once I heard the word Epstein files, I started looking for the remote to turn that shit off. Where is the remote? Oh, maybe it's under the newspaper. Maybe it's over here under this magazine. As I was unsuccessfully locating the remote control, I was being envenomated by what I was hearing. After about a minute of this, I said, fuck it, I'm unplugging the TV. So I got down on my knees and then my stomach to reach for the power strip under the TV stand. While I was extending myself in a full yoga stretch to wedge my arm between the TV and the stand and the wall, I was hearing a Fox News analyst say something like, well, the girls weren't that young, and that's when I really started to exert myself. I ended up making a loud bro weightlifting noise as I used all my force to gain just a couple more centimeters, and then finally I unplugged the whole entertainment system. My wife witnessed this whole thing go down, and when I stood up, she said that I was acting like a 5-year-old, and she asked what the hell was wrong with me. Now, my wife is from Colombia, and although her English is improving daily with Duolingo and practicing, she didn't quite grasp the news story. As I began to explain the Epstein files thing to her, she couldn't believe it. She thought I was making it all up. Wait, you're telling me he campaigned on releasing the Epstein files, knowing that he was everywhere in the Epstein files? As the idea landed with her that the person running the most powerful country in the world is most likely a pedophile, of the worst kind, according to Epstein, she looked at me in disbelief. She sat for a second and then said, "We had Pablo Escobar, you guys have Donald Trump." And I won't say his name because it's the same thing as giving an alcoholic a beer. I won't do it, and I also want to protect your energy. So you might be saying to yourself, cool, I'm all about the idea of protecting your energy, so then why bring this garbage onto the Recovery Elevator podcast? Well, occasionally, I want to remind you of what RE stands for, which is community, connection, inclusivity, and love. What's going on with ICE and all that stuff, of course we're not in line with that because it goes completely against our mission. So we have to protect our energy and turn that stuff off. And we're also not giving an addict his drug. I hope you enjoyed today's intro. Before we get any further, let's hear from Cafe RE.
When I first joined Cafe RE, I'd never been involved with any kind of online community, so I had no idea what to expect. All I knew was that I'd tried everything else and nothing was working. So I decided to take a chance. I jumped in and I gave it everything I had. And what I found in this community was people that truly understood me and that were really interested in me and my life. This community quickly became so much more to me than just faces in a Zoom meeting. They became my friends, and they loved me and believed in me when I couldn't do it for myself. I've been a part of Cafe RE for over 2 years now, and it has completely changed my life and kept me sober. So if you want to give this community a try, go to www.cafe-re.org and enter the promo code CONNECT for your first month free. Again, that's www.cafe-re.org and enter the code CONNECT for your first month free. I hope I see you there.
A trigger warning for this interview, there is a reference to firearms and sexual assault. Jan, how are you?
I'm good, Paul. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking, Jan. Let's get right into this. When was your last drink?
My last drink was February 1st, 2021.
Heck yeah. At the time of this recording, you were 10 days after hitting your 5-year mark away from alcohol. All milestones are big, but you hear the 30, 60, 90, 6 month, a year. I think 2 years is massive. But for me, there's something about the 5-year mark that is just huge. So congratulations, Jan. How do you feel?
I'm really proud of myself, honestly. I feel really good. I'm not waking up with hangovers and millions of things. I can go on forever.
Jan, did you ever think you'd make it this far?
Well, I did AA and I did have 4 years once. Yeah, I think thought I could probably do it, but no, sure.
Well, heck yeah. And listeners, I would say 90% of interviewees I've never met and have not met. Jan, I have met a couple times. She is in our alcohol-free nonprofit community, Cafe RE. I saw her at an East Coast meetup. Maybe it was Boston. I think maybe in Atlanta. And last year, I was able to hang out with Jan again at our annual Bozeman retreat, where I now definitely have a favorite Jan memory. Do you know what I'm going to talk about right now, Jan?
Yes, I do.
Okay, I'll give you the backstory. So every year, and this is a non-negotiable, at our retreat in Bozeman, we do a group dance. We feel movement, dance, expression of authenticity, and moving your body. It's just so awesome, and it's a big part of recovery. And human beings have been doing it for tens of thousands of generations. So this year, we were going to do a mosh pit, and to Smells Like Teen Spirit. And we're in the group, and I asked Jan if I could say this before. And I said, Jan, there's a chance that you might not survive this year's group dance. And this was all choreographed. This was a skit. And then Jan stands up and says, Paull, you don't know shit. She then walks up to the stage, grabs a stick or a log conveniently located or leaning against the railing, grabs it, winds up, and breaks this stick across my back. Now, what people didn't know is there was a small perforation on the stick, like hit here, it will break. I said, Jan, the only way you mess this up is if you don't swing that stick as hard as you can.
Yeah.
But again, it was not a stick. It was like a small log. And I remember you whacked me across the back and I go, holy shit. Internally, it was like, that fucking hurt. We'll try to pull some audio of the whole crowd just like, oh shit. Yeah, here we go. I got it pulled up.
Oh no, oh shit, oh shit.
That was a sound of all my hopes and dreams breaking. Jan, what did you recall from that moment?
Oh my God. Well, first of all, when you asked me to do it, I went, of course I'll do it because he asked me to do it. But then I thought, what if the stick doesn't break? And what if I break his back? And what if he ends up in an ambulance? I was a little bit nervous about it, but I thought, no, it's going to be okay.
I remember saying, Jan, you have to swing this stick as hard as you can. And I had a bruise on my back. I went home that night.
Did you really?
Yeah, I showed my wife and I was like, not so much here or here, but right here. And she's like, yeah, obviously there's a big line right above your tailbone across your entire back. So great job, Jan. You nailed it.
You're so welcome. It was my pleasure. Except for I had people come up to me afterwards and said, oh my God, Jan, we really thought you lost it. They really believed it.
Well, that was the point of that skit, was for people to think that, whoa, Jan is off her rocker, has totally lost it, and just broke a stick across the retreat leader's back. And you did such a good job.
Thank you. That was a lot of fun. I love the comments later.
All right, Jan, before we get into your story, give listeners some background about yourself. This is where you're zooming in from. What's your age? Maybe what you do for a living, what does your family life look like? And then most importantly, what do you like to do for fun?
All right, so I am 75. I know that Ty, I think, might be 1 year older. I always said I was the oldest, but I think Ty might be a year older. So that made me really feel good. And it also made me feel good that I got to meet her. But I'm originally from Guilford, Connecticut, and I also lived in Vermont for several years. And I was married for 10 years. I have a son, Sam, who is an amazing artist. He also has schizophrenia, which I'm very open about. And so is he. But he's doing really well. And I'm divorced from that guy. And what I like to do is I love to walk. I think that's my biggest thing. I used to be a ski instructor up in Vermont, but haven't skied for a long time. But hiking, walking, being outside, dancing. I do enjoy dancing when I dance. And photography is a big love of my life. And going to RE meetings. I mean, it's not like, oh God, I've got to go to another meeting today. I love going to the meetings. I have so much fun. And I also love to host the meetings. I had 3 brothers, and I think it was a year and a half ago, I can't remember now. And I did this all sober. I lost 2 of my brothers out of 3. Within 2 months, I got the call that they both had died. And I'm proud to say I stayed sober for that. I love, love, love animals. When I was out in Bozeman, I said, Paull, can I please see your goats? I want to see your goats. And he said, yes, Jan, we're going to make that happen. So I love your goats so much, Paull. I do animal sitting. I do farms, big farms sometimes. So I could never have done that stuff drinking.
Yeah, I was happy to introduce you to the goats. After you asked for the 32nd time, I was like, well, the only way we're going to get past this is to drive Jan to my house and hang out with the goats. But I'm really glad we did. How cool are they? They're awesome, huh?
Oh my God, I love your dog too. I'm sort of thinking about getting a poodle like yours. I forgot to mention, I have a dog who's a Pekingese. He's 14. He has no eyes. He's going deaf. I don't think he's going to be with us much longer. And I'm dreading that day so much.
Yeah, but you'll be there to walk him home and you'll be doing it sober. And I know you'll be fine.
Yeah.
And we'll be here with you. Well, Jan, I'm going to turn it over to you with your story with alcohol. Let us know how much you drank. Was it nightly? Was it the weekends? Did you try to cut back, moderate? Let us know if there were rock bottom moments, things like that. I'll jump in with questions. Let's do this.
Because I'm 75 and I started drinking when I was 19, I guess it was. So I can't go through all of those years. So I'm going to highlight the years that need to be highlighted. And it started in Italy. My parents sent me, they were like, let's get rid of this child. So they sent me to Europe. I lived with an Italian family, which was wonderful. But I really learned about wine drinking because they drink a lot of wine. And I loved that. That was fun. Now, that was fine. The college was all in Italian, so I didn't stay there because I didn't speak enough Italian to get anything out of the college. I went to England. I went to the campus in England, and guess what? Where you met all the students, they had like a bar there. So, yeah, I'm like, this is cool. And I got in with the wildest, of course, the wildest group of all. We did a lot of drugs, we did a lot of drinking. I'll remember an incident driving into London to see Hair, which, if anyone's ever seen Hair, it was wonderful. And on the way back, I think we flipped the car over. Somehow I turned the car over. We got out and thought it was really funny, and we flipped it back over. I mean, stuff like that. I had another car that didn't have any brakes. So I had to turn the emergency brake on to stop the car. But we did so much drinking and drugs. And so after that, I went to the University of Arizona and I continued my drinking because it's close to Mexico. This is where all the really, when I think about it, very dangerous stuff happened. I took a lot of trips to Mexico, some with friends and some. My parents sent me to Guadalajara to go to summer school. And honestly, I don't think I went to the school for more than one day. I ended up in Puerto Vallarta, which is beautiful. But I gravitated to all the people that I shouldn't have gravitated towards. The jet setters, I guess. I remember the first day we sat around this table and they were passing out these pills. And I think they were black. They were called Black Beauties. And that is really high grade speed. And I loved it. And then we would drink, like I would drink on top of it. So I'd have margaritas with the speed. Yeah, I was in seventh heaven until bad things started happening to me. I don't think I talked about this in the first podcast, but I was in a nightclub and someone gave me a pill and I'm like, oh yeah, that'd be fun. It was like what it is called ketamine today. And it probably was not refined like ketamine now. It was like a horse tranquilizer is what I thought. Well, I guess that's what they are. And I did that with the margaritas, went to a nightclub, and then I just know that they had to carry me out of the nightclub. And I missed my flight the next day because they couldn't wake me up. I mean, how dangerous is this? I could have died. And then another night, and I also picked really bad guys to go out with, really bad guys. And this one particularly was not a nice guy. And we went after the being out in the nightclub. And of course, I'd been drinking a lot. And I ended up, well, I mean, I was basically raped at gunpoint. And I'm saying rape because that's what it was. It's not sexual assault, it was actually rape.
Wow.
And I heard the guy that had taken me there screaming, you whore, you disgusting person. And of course, it was a horrible experience. And I've done a lot of work around this.
Jan, so this is happening in your early 20s, late teens, right?
Yeah.
So Jan, it sounds like in your late teens, early 20s, you've already had some intense experiences. And I'm sorry to hear about that experience, getting raped at gunpoint. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. And alcohol is the common denominator with experiences. So I want to hear about the 5 years of sobriety. So if you could get us to the point where it got bad with alcohol, did you try to cut back? Rock bottom moments?
And it continued on that way. I ended up with hepatitis. I had all these warning flags like hepatitis and food poisoning and all these terrible things happening to me. I just have to say this last part because this was the bottom rock moment. I was living with two gay men and living the life of Riley, going to parties and doing everything. I was so depressed. So I ended up back home. I went back home to Vermont. I know I was in Connecticut then. I eventually got to AA and did that for 4 years. And then AA was probably 15 years ago, 10 years ago.
Okay, so let's talk about before you quit drinking on February 1st, 2021. Were there some events that led up to that? Was there a rock bottom moment? Were you trying to cut back or to moderate right before that?
I tried a lot of different things. Naltrexone, I tried that for a while. I tried Antabuse, which I was pretending to take because I switched the bottles. My son was watching me. He's the one that wanted me to quit drinking.
Okay.
I wanted to too, but he definitely wanted me to. So I tried, and that didn't really work. I wasn't going to go back to AA. I had had enough of AA, so I didn't go back. So I didn't know what to do. And there wasn't a rock bottom model. It was a combination of years and years of mental hospitals and 5 treatment centers. Yeah, it's really hard to get this into one podcast because there's just so much that happened. But a friend of my son said, she's going to this Cafe RE or something like that. And I said, that sounds interesting. Tell me more about it. So I finally got into that 5 years ago. That's when I stopped drinking.
Were you drinking, signed up for Cafe and then quit, or had you already quit and then signed up?
I think it was all like simultaneously. Yeah, I think it all happened at one time. And that was my last drink, February 1st. And I think probably right after that, I signed up, or the same day. I don't remember exactly.
Jan, let me ask you this question. You said, there wasn't really a rock bottom moment, but accumulation of a lifetime of getting your ass kicked by alcohol. You didn't say those exact words. But can you comment a bit more on just being sick and tired of being sick and tired over the decades of drinking?
It would be lots of hiding bottles and feeling bad about myself and not being able to really follow through with getting fired from jobs. And just the mental obsession of alcohol it's so difficult just to wake up every day going, okay, we're not going to drink today. Okay. Here we go with another hangover. Or I don't even think I got hangovers anymore. I think I was just so used to the way I was feeling that when I actually did stop drinking, it was night and day how much better I felt. But so I was tired of the hiding it and saying I was going to do something and not doing it. It's exhausting. And I thought naltrexone was the trick for me. But what I liked about it is you could still drink on naltrexone. So it didn't work for me. Sinclair method, that's what it's called.
Yeah, and naltrexone blocks the euphoric feelings of alcohol when you drink. If listeners are wondering what that is and what it does. So listeners, before we hear from Jan's sobriety component of her story, I want to mention the coolest thing about doing a recovery elevator is witnessing the transformations that people undergo when they quit drinking. They make the decision and they bloom. And all flowers bloom at different times, right? It's not a day one thing. It wasn't one for me. But Jan, I want to say thank you for myself and the whole RE staff because you have been an incredible flower to watch bloom over the last 5 years. We've all been rooting for you. We've all been cheering for you. And you've given so much to the community as well. As you said earlier, you host our chats and you've had a lot of service positions within Cafe RE. So I want to say thank you from myself and the team. Keep up the good work. So you quit drinking, you sign up for Cafe RE, might be all at the same time. What was that first month like? What was that first year like?
I think the first year I would not go to any parties. I would not go to anywhere where there was drinking. None whatsoever. And it wasn't that I'm invited to a lot of parties, so it's not that difficult. If I was 20, 25 years old, that would be a whole different story. But no, it wasn't as bad as you would think it would be because I got into Cafe RE. I went to lots of meetings. So I started hosting and I actually got fired from hosting. Paull,
Yeah, I wasn't going to bring that up, but yeah, I had to.
Oh, I brought it up because
Okay.
I thought it was important to tell people. They said just take some time, and they were nice about it and everything. But now I'm hosting again, and I'm proud of myself for doing that because I could have just said, well, when they said maybe you should step down, I was thinking, okay, well, screw these guys. I don't need this. But I'm happy I didn't do that. I really am.
That is a true story. Yeah. And again, thank you for the gift that you have given us because you're a wonderful definition of you just keep showing up. There's no getting rid of Jan, and we don't want to get rid of Jan. And I'm going to tell another Jan story is we had a Ditching the Booze course, I think in 2021. And one of the assignments was to make a video and upload it to your group's WhatsApp group. And
Yeah.
you're like, not happening, Paul. Make a video. What are you freaking doing? And I think I said, sorry, Jan, that's the homework assignment. You're in the course. That's it. And you made the video, right?
Oh, yeah, no, at first I really, because I looked at myself, I said, no, I'm way too old for this. I can't do that. I was just criticizing myself, but then I said, oh man, okay, I'll do it. Yes, I did do it. And now, when you're hosting meetings, you're looking at yourself the whole time. So got over that. I have gotten over a lot of hurdles now that you mention it.
Totally. You can sign up for Toastmasters. This is a group that helps you work on public speaking and communicating in public formats. Or you can host a Cafe RE chat a couple times or over and over. It's such a great place for us to find our footing in life, to find our authentic voice and speak in front of a group of people. Like that is a gangster skill that everybody needs to know, sobriety group or not. So Jan, you're rocking it. Keep on hosting, keep on showing up. So in the last 5 years, how has your mental health changed?
We didn't have time to go through my history, but I was on a lot of medication. I really is important to mention this because I was told that I was bipolar and lots of other awful things. Like you have borderline personality and you've got anxiety and you've got this and that, eating disorders, and just on and on, like all that. I don't have any of that anymore. I'm not bipolar, even though I had all these psychiatrists say I was bipolar. I am not. I'm not even on a medication for it. I'm on one medication, and I was probably on, I don't even know if I can count them, so many. So I'm only on one thing for antidepressant.
Jan, we've got something in common. Before I quit drinking, I got so many diagnoses that were incorrect. And I tallied it up. I was on, I think, 12 or 13, not all at once, but different psychotropic meds. All I had to do was quit drinking. All I had to do. I had to quit drinking, which was a big lift. And it turns out, yeah, I'm not bipolar either. So without the alcohol, how has your mental clarity improved or how has your mental health improved?
It's so much better. I walk a lot and I have a beautiful place to walk. And I see things clear. Like I love photography. Everything is clear. I don't have this fog. That's really hard to explain. Just like I'm so interested in like a tree or a leaf or whatever. It's just nature.
Back it up.
It's
Have you always been interested in a tree or a leaf, or is this a recent thing?
well, probably yeah. I may be a tree hugger, but yeah, I've always been no, not as intensely, not as clear. Not because when you're in an alcohol fog, you're really not thinking about nature. You're thinking about your next drink.
Yeah, at about year 8 for me, I became interested in the pine tree names. Everything, oh, there's a pine tree, pine tree, pine tree. Started learning the different types of pine trees, about Douglas firs, redwoods, sequoias, all that stuff. And when I go to Costa Rica, I love learning the trees as well. And I think what is happening there, Jan, so addiction is disconnection, it's separation. And with you and the tree, there's a definite wall like, well, there's a tree and there's me, and we have nothing in common. But the further we go away from alcohol, and this was like year 7 for me, the veil of separation begins to lift and it doesn't stop. In the East, this is called Maya. That's the word the Buddhists have for separation. It's illusion. It's false. It's not correct. Quantum science shows we're all connected deeply at the energetic level. And so for me, the further I got away from alcohol, as the separation continues to lift, the colors in nature become more vibrant. As you mentioned,
Yeah.
the leaf. There will be a leaf that will pull my energy or pull my attention, say, what is that? This childlike curiosity grows as the veil of separation removes. And I imagine that's what you're seeing. How do you feel about the theory of the opposite of addiction is connection? Do you feel more connected to nature, to yourself, to the planet, to other human beings?
being around people is so important. We're social beings. We need to be around people. We can't do this by ourselves. And I think that that's the problem with a lot of people that can't stay sober. They just try to do it by themselves. I mean, there might be a few people that can, but I am not one of them. The connection piece is so important. And that's why I like to host, because then I get more connected.
Jan, Dale wanted me to ask you a question, and Dale is our chat host coordinator. He runs all the meetings. What time do we want to have the meeting open for shares after the icebreaker and that stuff? How long into the chat?
12 minutes.
Yeah, we got it. We got
So,
it.
you know what happened? I got scolded. Jan, Paul said that blah, 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 blah.
It wasn't all caps. It wasn't all caps. It went on a little long, and that's okay. That's because you're passionate about recovery, life in general, and the topic. So it's awesome.
I know now. I'm very, very careful about it.
Hey, Jan, I get feedback all the time.
Yeah, you get
feedback? My feedback are the listeners, right? And people, they sign up for the courses and retreats or they don't. It's all feedback. So thank you for being open for feedback, because we've given some to some hosts and we've never seen them again. So you were able to receive the feedback, listen to advice, make the changes, and here we are. Jan, you're 75 years old. What's on your bucket list in an alcohol-free life?
Oh, God. Well, I really do want to go to Costa Rica. You mentioned that before. I want to do some more traveling. And so my brother, one of the brothers that died, was a photographer, professional photographer, and I have his camera. And I need to get someone to help me with this camera. I'm not one to like to sit and read directions and stuff, so I'd like to really get into that. Also, my son is the amazing art. I really want to work with him and get him into the cities and get where he needs to be as his agent, kind of. Yeah, and I need just more connection. So yeah, Cafe RA is fantastic, but I need more in-person connection too.
Jan, you've been in the community for a while. What are you saying the newcomer do to give them the best chances of success and sobriety?
Well, I mean, it's skilled meetings. That's an AA thing. Meeting makers make it. And I've got all those things in my head, but it's true. It's true. And I found out that a lot of the people in Cafe do not go to meetings, but I don't understand how people can stay sober if they don't get connected and go to meetings.
So, Jan, what would you say to a Cafe RE member who has not gone to a meeting yet?
Get to a meeting pronto.
Is that all caps or?
Yeah, that's all caps. Go to a meeting today, now.
Okay. Yeah, I think about 25 to 30% of our members go to the chats, which to me is way low. It's higher than it used to be. So we'd love to see you there, and you can meet Jan or myself in person. Jan, I got a couple more questions before we hit the rapid fire round. Do you have a favorite recovery quote?
You know what? I just listened to Ty's podcast because I have such admiration for her, but it's a lot easier to stay sober than to get sober. I think that's huge.
You've heard Ty's name dropped a couple times by Jan. Ty was the 10+ year podcast editor for Recovery Elevator, and she's still involved. She's still in the community. We love you, Ty. Jan, I think your biggest value bomb was earlier. You said you can't do this alone. Can you comment on that one more time, the importance of community and connection?
Well, I can just tell you what I do. I go to several meetings. Sometimes I get a little grief from my son, like, do you really need to go to another meeting? I would say just get involved if you can. I mean, there's other things. There's the podcast. This is the podcast. There's Quit Lit. There's meetups. Cafe RE has lots of meetups. And you can't go to them all. And there's the Bozeman retreat, which was fantastic. If you can do that once, that's in August. Any way you can meet up with people. If you want to go to AA, go to AA. If you want to go to Smart Recovery, go to Smart Recovery or Refuge Recovery. We do have those in Cafe RE.
Jan, one more question before the rapid fire round. What are your thoughts on relapse? Do you plan on going the distance here?
Without a doubt. I have no interest in having a drink ever again. I don't plan on drinking again. Yeah, I plan on going the distance. Absolutely. Yes.
All right. Well, we got your back and we're here to support you. And thank you for your support towards me and this project and Recovery Elevator and being on the podcast. Jan, we have hit the rapid fire round. If you could answer these questions in 5 to 10 seconds, that would be great. Are you ready?
Yeah, I am.
Jan, what's the one thing you've learned about yourself in the last 5 years?
I hate this question. No, I don't hate the question. I think it's a really hard one, but I just think people seem to like me. Most people, not everybody likes me, but people keep telling me how funny I am and what a great sense of humor I have. But I'm also extremely sensitive. I don't love that part, but that's the way it is.
What's been your best sober moment?
Well, I'll tell you, I can't think of the absolute best one, but I'll tell you one thing. One of the most wonderful moments was being with your goats, Paul. Thank you so much. I so enjoyed that. Oh, and can I say another one? I can. Okay. I worked on a ranch out in Wyoming, and we had to rustle up the cattle, and so we saddled up the horses, and I'm riding like crazy in the beautiful mountains of Wyoming, trying to catch the cattle. That was probably one of the most wonderful moments of my life. I love that so much.
What's your favorite alcohol-free drink?
Kombucha. I made it. It was a flop. I'm trying it again, but it's expensive, but I love it. Love kombucha.
What's the point of life?
I think that is to not hurt people, to love people, to make people. I love it when I smile at someone and they smile back, to make people feel loved and just be helping other people. It makes me feel so good to do that.
Jan, I say House of Pain. You say?
Jump around.
Damn, you got it. All right. Jan, what has recovery made possible for you?
A wonderful relationship with my son, who wanted nothing to do with me in the earlier years. So we see each other every day and we have a fantastic time together.
What parting advice can you give to someone who wants to quit drinking, Jan?
Find a place, if it could be this place or whatever it is, find a place where you're comfortable and get connected with people. Just get connected and be around like-minded people that understand addiction and recovery.
And Jan, before we depart, give us your own "you might need to ditch the booze if" line.
I had several things that I was thinking about, and I said this on the last one podcast, and I'll say it again. If you have been to, I think I went to 5 treatment centers and many hospitalizations for alcoholism. So you might have to ditch the booze if you've been to 10 establishments that were helping you to get rid of alcohol. I think maybe it's time.
Jan, I think you made the right decision. So pumped for you on 5 years alcohol-free. Look forward to seeing you in cafe area chats and meetups and things like that.
I've got to say something, okay? And Paull did not tell me to say this. I love your book, your latest book. It's wonderful. And I didn't know that you were such a wild man, Paull. I had no, Dolce Vita is called.
Thank you, Jan.
I mean, I don't know how he did it. I don't know how he is where he is today, but when I was reading, I was like, did he really get up in the morning and drink? And did he do this? Did he really do this? And look where you're at now. So I'm really proud of you, too.
Oh, thank you, Jan. Yes, it's all true, but the change and transformation that we can make in a human life is incredible. And watching your change again, Jan, has just been remarkable. So thank you.
I love you, Paull.
Love you too, Jan. Okay, a bit more on what I said on the intro. Don't drink the Kool-Aid. We're seeing one thing from the current administration, but what I'm seeing in real person, nothing but kindness has been shown to me daily. And for my wife, who doesn't speak the language yet. I used to make up scenarios where we're speaking to each other in Spanish in Target or out in public, and someone will say, "Hey, we speak English in this country." That has never happened. In fact, what we have seen is quite the opposite. No way, I'm learning Spanish as well. Do you think we could all go out and practice Spanish? So don't drink the Kool-Aid and turn it off. I want to thank our production team for today's episode. We've got our editor, Natasha, Robin with the show notes, and then Chris on the mixing decks putting it all together. I also want to thank our sponsors. Recovery Elevator, go big, because eventually we'll all go home. Love thy neighbor. I love you guys.
I see you, Saber, I see you, Saber, almighty Saber, I see you, Saber, I see you, Saber, I see you, Saber, almighty Saber, I see you, Saber.